Shalom. This is Rabbi Tama Davis Hart from Beth Elohim Messianic Synagogue bringing you a quick exercise regarding the law. Let's start with Matthew 15:1. Then came to Yeshua scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands. When they eat bread, now this is a rabbinic command, not God's Torah, he answered, and he said to them, this is Matthew 15:3, Why do ye also transgress the commandment of Yahweh by your tradition? Matthew 15:4, For Yahweh commanded, saying, Honor thy father and mother, and he that curseth father and mother, let him die the death. 15:5, But ye say, Whoever shall say this to father or mother, it's a gift by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me. 15:6, And honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have ye made the commandment of Yahweh of none effect by your tradition. This is what Shaul, Paul, and Yeshua was talking about in the Brit Chadashah. That's the refreshed, renewed covenant Christians call the New Testament. There's nothing new about it. It is a refreshed, renewed covenant, just like if you were adding an amendment to the Constitution. Yeshua is God, and he came to show us how to live his laws, his commands, with compassion, with the spirit of the law, and with intent. Now back to Matthew 15:7. Ye hypocrites, well did Esaias prophesy of you, saying in Matthew 15:8, This people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. And then in 15:9, But in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Again, this is oral Torah. This is rabbinic law. Now, Yeshua was addressing the oral law, the traditions of the Father, and not God's commands, as is evident by the text. Tradition or halakha, that's Jewish law, oral Torah, had said that if a son dedicated his money as a gift to the temple, then this money could not be spent to support his parents. So, nullifying the commandment of God that a son is to care for his parents. The son then did not sin or break the law according to oral law, and was innocent of offense against God or his parents. Now Yeshua said that observing such traditions of men made God's law of no effect, and they were hypocrites and guilty under God's commands. Again, God did not abrogate his own laws. That doesn't make sense to a 2-year-old. Those laws, those instructions are still intact, still in force. I'll change my mind if you can tell me how many times Yeshua ate a pizza and shrimp. So this passage provides an excellent example of what Shaul, Paul, he spoke of in the majority of the time concerning the law. In all cases, he was referring to the oral Torah and not to God's Torah, his laws, his instructions. The problem is, the Greek language does not have a word to differentiate between God's law and traditions or oral law, which is rabbinic law. The only word for law in Greek is nomos. And this has led many people advocating the erroneous belief that God's law is dead. If there was one thing I could teach Christians, it would be God's law is not dead. There is not a New Testament, it's a renewed, refreshed covenant, and it's all about putting the phone book together, if you will, the old and the refreshed. You can't tear it in half and throw half away. And showing us, Yeshua came to show us a tangible being, God incarnate. Emmanuel, God with us, showed us how to live his laws, his commands, right in front of us, how to do it with spirit, how to do it with compassion. So we've seen through Scripture that the abrogation of God's laws just isn't true. He never abrogated them. He is God, and neither he nor his word ever changes. I would like to thank you for watching this podcast. And you can go to our website at rabdavis.org if you want to look at the teachings and the studies. You can access the podcast through the website, or if you have questions, comments, or there's something you would like me to research and do a podcast on in the future, there is a link, Ask the Rabbi. You can address it there. So again, thank you so much for watching this podcast, and I encourage you to share it with others in your sphere of influence as appropriate. Shalom.